We are not here to offer a simple explanation. We are here to conduct a rigorous forensic analysis into a profound logical and theological problem. The objective is to systematically examine the evidence, both from the text and from the cosmos itself, to arrive at a coherent conclusion regarding the divine throne.
And this is the very heart of the investigation, the central contradiction we must resolve. How can a being that is, by definition, infinite and transcendent be described as occupying a finite physical space? This is the intellectual crime scene, so to speak, the apparent impossibility that we must dissect.
This verse must be understood not merely as a piece of evidence, but as the foundational axiom for this entire analysis. It is the non-negotiable principle against which all subsequent theories must be tested. Any proposition that violates this axiom of absolute divine transcendence is, by definition, logically invalid.
So we begin the first phase of the investigation, examining the fundamental conflict between literal, anthropomorphic imagery and the axiom of divine transcendence.
The primary logical fallacy that must be dismantled is anthropomorphism. It is the attribution of human characteristics to God. This is the intellectual contamination, if you will, that must be cleared before any real analysis can proceed.
A crucial distinction must be made here. The metaphorical view is not an invasion of the text. On the contrary, it is a more precise intellectual instrument. A literal interpretation creates a direct collision with our foundational axiom. The metaphorical bridge, however, allows the finite intellect to point towards an incomprehensible reality without reducing it to created forms.
The logical corollary, then, is to redefine these terms based on their function, not on their anthropomorphic imagery. We must move from a seat to sovereignty.
The first redefinition is presented to us in the text itself. The Kursi, or footstool, is described as encompassing the heavens and the earth. This is not a physical object. This is a symbol of the infinite knowledge that undergirds and sustains the entire cosmic structure.
And if the Kursi is that foundational knowledge, the Arsh, or throne, is its active expression. It is not a static object of authority, but the very function of that authority. The dynamic governance and active decree, the hukm, that maintains cosmic order.
To clarify this concept, let's use an analogy. Consider an architectural blueprint. The Arsh is not the furniture inside the completed house. It is the architectural intent, the very blueprint that explains the entire structure's existence and purpose.
This shifts the burden of proof. If the Arsh represents a governing order, then evidence of that order, that cosmic blueprint, must be observable within creation itself. We move from textual analysis to empirical observation.
And here we find our primary textual evidence of this cosmic order. The description of celestial bodies swimming in an orbit is not a depiction of chaotic motion. It is a description of a lawful, predictable system, a universe governed by principles.
This is not arbitrary motion. This is Mizan, divine balance. The entire cosmos operates on this principle of an intricate, self-sustaining equilibrium. The aesthetic beauty and profound elegance of this system resonates with the human intellect as a sign of its origin.
These phenomena are not isolated curiosities. They are rational data points, what the text calls ayat, or signs. The alternation of night and day, the precision of celestial orbits, the equilibrium within ecosystems, the universal laws of physics. Each one is a piece of evidence pointing toward a single governing intelligence.
The argument for a universe of uncaused order is logically incoherent. Let's use a mathematical analogy. Divine sovereignty functions as the axiomatic one. It is the uncaused cause, the fundamental constant without which the entire system of universal laws collapses into absurdity. Its existence is a logical prerequisite for a comprehensible universe.
We now arrive at the culmination of this analysis, the synthesis of all points of evidence into a single, inescapable conclusion.
Let us retrace the logical progression. First, the dismantling of anthropomorphism. Second, the redefinition of Kursi as foundational knowledge. Third, the redefinition of Arsh as dynamic authority. Fourth, the observation of this authority in the cosmic order. The final step is understanding the teleology of this entire process, the preservation of pure monotheism.
The entire rational exercise has a single, ultimate objective, the preservation of pure tawhid.
By dismantling the physical metaphor, we protect the core axiom of an indivisible, transcendent creator from the corruption of idolatrous visualization.
And this brings us to a final analogy, the optical mirror. The human intellect does not invent this meaning. It is a mirror designed not to create light, but to reflect the inherent logic of the divine order that stands before it. Once the fog of literalism is cleared, the reflection becomes sharp and undeniable.
This leads to the profound realization. Faith is not a leap into the dark. It is the final, inescapable conclusion of a rational mind that has followed the chain of evidence to its necessary end.
We conclude, then, with a final question. If faith is the final step of reason, what, then, is the nature of doubt? Is it a failure of evidence or simply an incomplete investigation?